Okay, we are. This is like the 50th attempt. Everything seems to be working. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, finally, we got this fucking computer working. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we are ranking post punk and new wave bands here. So let's just get started. So the first one's Aha. Um, so
Uh,
you go first. You know more about them apparently.
Aha is a band that everyone knows for only one song, but like a lot of bands from this era, there are a lot of better songs because they had a much more successful career in Europe than they did here. They're very good. They released I think a couple albums through the 80s and 90s that are really good. Listen to the cover of Crying in the Rain. They're actually a really good band, more than they actually got credit for.
So where are we gonna put them on the list? B.
Adamant.
Is that post punk or new wave?
I don't know this band.
Me neither. All right. Okay. B-52s. I think I know more about them than Joe. Um.
Love
So
Shack, I guess.
yeah. So they are a new wave. I've only heard three of their albums, which are the first three. Um. I'd say about A tier. They're pretty good. You may know them for, let's see, there's Love Shack, which is their big, that was their big 80s hit.
Rock Lobster.
And Rock Lobster got more famous currently. And if you've ever watched the movie Monsters vs. Aliens, you may recognize Planet Claire. So they definitely have left an impact, and I'd say they're definitely one of the more notable new wave acts. Okay, Baltimore, I do know for Tarzan Boy.
Rest in peace to the guy, by the way.
Oh yeah, I did. I've been watching Todd in the Shadows. I don't know if you've heard of him. I've been watching his.
I don't know if you've heard of him. I've been watching him for years. What?
Ah, I think I watched him back in 2016. Stopped watching him. Then more recently, I watched him again. I like his One Hit Wonderland series. I have seen his videos about Aha and Baltimore.
I feel like unfortunately Baltimore doesn't have as much to their discography as a lot of bands we're going to see. I think they
Okay.
probably D tier. They just don't have enough to work with. Bengals. Some Bengals.
Don't know them at all.
I know the Bengals, but I don't think I've listened to the Bengals.
Yeah, I never even heard of
Bauhaus.
them. Okay,
I've not listened to Bauhaus.
I've never heard of them.
I don't think I've listened to Big Black yet.
Okay, Blondie. I think we both know
I
Blondie.
like Blondie. I like me some Blondie.
I've only heard two of Blondie's albums, Parallel Lines and Eat to the Beat. Oh no, I did hear Auto American, but I didn't like it that much.
I like some Blondie. I think
Yeah,
you guys
Blondie's
are
pretty
Blondie.
good. B tier seems fitting, I guess.
Buggles.
I th-
Now I absolutely love Living in the Plastic Age. I love that album. It's a fantastic record. The only problem is they don't have any others.
um, I know the one
I think I
song.
would put it A tier.
Yeah,
I think for new
actually,
wave around that time, I think Buggles is one of the best of the late 70s.
should we put Blondie above Aha or not?
We're not ordering these.
No. All right. Kate
Even then, I
Bush.
think I like Aha's output more than Blondie. Kate Bush is absolutely, positively, let me add a row because I forgot to do that. Absolutely, positively not new wave.
And or is she post punk?
She's a fantastic artist, but she is not a new wave artist.
And I'm assuming
No,
not.
she is art pop. That is
Ah.
not even related to
Okay then.
Buzzcocks. This is more a punk band. I'm not familiar.
Yeah. Cars I've heard of.
And one of the guys who produced Weezer's debut.
Huh. I don't know much about Cars. I think I heard one of their songs in Cars 2, which, fitting, but that's it.
Cocteau Twins. I love Cocteau Twins.
I have not heard them, so maybe later give me some album suggestions.
Listen to Heaven or Las Vegas.
All right,
That album is gorgeous.
Okay, Elvis Costello I can actually speak on. My dad is a huge fan. I think he's more post-punk.
He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but he is a little new wave for my tastes.
I'd say he's definitely a bit more old-fashioned than some other,
I can't
post-punk.
really rank him that high because I haven't heard him.
He's, I'd say C would be he's a solid C. I've only heard one album that, was, of course, my dad's recommendation. My dad is a big fan of Elvis Costello. So.
Okay.
All right, yeah, the Cult, I do not know.
Culture Club. That's George. What is his name?
I have not heard of them either.
Hang on, let me look up. Boy George is who I'm thinking of. I was trying to place it, but it was Boy George is the person I was thinking of. All right. But I haven't really listened to their music that much.
Oh, The Cure,
The Cure? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not going to debate this.
I have not heard a bunch from them, but I do know The Cure is good, so I'm not really going to argue there. I have heard Disintegration.
Mm-hmm. That's the best one. Cutting Through.
Yeah. I like the Spider-Man song.
Dead or Alive, that's Right Round.
Yeah.
You spin Right Round.
They were definitely more of a one-hit wonder. I don't know anything about them other than...
Unfortunately, they didn't really have that many big hits. Rest in peace to the lead singer also. But Right Round is like an eternal banger, so I think at the least... I'll put it with Baltimore. They just don't have enough catalog.
Okay, Depeche Mode...
We're not arguing this.
Okay, wait.
We're absolutely not.
Wait, I need to talk about Devo. You know.
I mean, Depeche Mode comes alphabetically first before Devo, because I'm going to talk about Depeche Mode. One of the best synth pop acts of all time. Their 80s output was very good. Their 90s output, I think, is their best. They had some solid tracks here and there in the 2000s. They pretty much revived their career with their last record a few years ago. Rest in peace to Andy Fletcher.
I do have a hot take. I do have a hot take with Depeche Mode. I don't like Violator that much.
That is your hot take, and you will have to trade that off for the fact I don't like Shout that much. Let's talk about Devo.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, I think most people don't like Shout too much, but
I think we can't argue.
But Devo definitely S tier easily. I think literally anyone, even if people just know Whip It, I think they can agree Devo is like the new wave band. They're like,
if people just know Whip It, I don't think they're qualified to talk about this.
True, yeah. No, trust me, I know way more than Whip It.
Wave band.
Yes,
they is the band that turned post punk into new wave.
Their albums are all really solid, except for Total Devo. That was kind of embarrassing. It had some decent tracks, but as an album, it just was bad.
Isn't Total Devo a compilation album?
No, that's Hardcore Devo. You're thinking of Hardcore. No, Total Devo is a regular album. It's not great. Total Devo is...
Okay. From 88.
Yeah.
All right, Dexies. You haven't heard Dexies, but I have. They're pretty good. I wouldn't call them new wave, though.
Okay.
I guess they started as a post-punk band, but they started venturing more into folk and other stuff later on. Divinyls. Australian band. Famous for that song, When I Think About You, I Touch Myself. The video was the major directorial debut for one Michael Bay.
Oh no! Oh no!
And that's where he got his start. Divinyls, well regarded in Australia. I don't think I've heard enough of them to really say. Thomas Dolby.
I've heard of him.
I like Thomas Dolby a lot.
I have heard of him, but I don't really know much about him.
He did She Blinded Me with Science and some other pretty good songs from that era. I like his song Hyperactive. It does give me it gives me kind of Pee-wee's Playhouse vibes. But also, he did a full album with George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic.
Huh.
It's not great, but he did it. And he also was founder of the company that did the Nokia ringtone.
Huh.
Thomas Dolby is like his fingerprints everywhere, apparently.
Okay,
Duran. I think
so. Actually, my mom, I think, is a big fan of them. I've never really heard them yet. She did give me one of their albums to borrow, and she'll let me keep it if I like it. So I'll, sure.
I think Duran Duran is up here. They have some things, and a more recent one, including my favorite Metal Gear Solid 5 track, Invisible. Shoutouts to you, Rose.
Huh. Okay, Echo.
I've not heard Echo or Erasure.
Me neither. So. Oh, Eurythmics. I can speak on Eurythmics. I only have a greatest hits, but they are good. They are a good band.
Eurythmics is quite good.
Yeah. People mainly know them for Sweet Dreams, although there are a couple others that I heard. I know I heard Who's That Girl in a very bad Simpsons episode. There's a few others that are on there that are pretty good. Overall,
Eurythmics is very much if like Sweet Dreams is like the best song the song that people know of, that's a good pick for like
that is
for them. I think
I'd say that is their best. Overall, that is their best song, but they do have other good songs. They're not a one-hit wonder.
Flock Seagulls.
Oh yeah, I'm running so far away. Yeah, I want to buy their first album. If I see it tomorrow while we go shopping, I'm going to pick it up.
It is a very good album.
Yeah, I did just buy Iran on iTunes, but I kind of do want to listen to their other stuff because they do sound like a band I would like. So I'm gonna.
Unfortunately, I feel like they don't have a lot of great stuff after that first album.
Yeah, it's a one album wonder, kind of like a few of the other artists we're gonna cover. There are. I'm not familiar. There are multiple one album wonders. Go-Go's I only know because one of the members was on a song by the band Sparks. That's really all I know about them.
It's like the Bengals. I know them, but I don't listen to them. Husker Du. I would wager not a new wave band.
Post-punk?
I don't even think that.
No. Okay then. Set.
Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, they're like a punk band, but they're not post-punk, so they're not really in the scene.
Yeah.
We'll see. What is it? We'll see like Meat Puppets later too, and I don't think they're new wave either. Billy Idol. Not an album artist, I don't think, but like there's some great songs that he's done.
Yeah, I can't say I know too much about it. I do know Dancing with Myself only really because the Aquabats kind of ripped it off. They literally stole one of the lyrics from that in their song Radio Down.
I think there's you probably know some more songs than that. White Wedding, Rebel Yell, Eyes Without a Face.
If I heard them, maybe, but by title, I don't. So.
Rock the Cradle of Love. INXS. Damn, a lot of these lead singers passed away.
I know.
INXS. I don't really know enough about their music.
I know Devo had 2 members pass away. Rest in peace, Alan and Bob Caselli.
The Jam. I don't know.
Oh, Joy Division. I know because they became New Order. New Order's on this list.
Joy Division was like one of the best post-punk bands of their era. Then, surprise of surprises, the lead singer died.
Yep, and once that happened, they became
and then
New
they
Order.
reformed.
Well, should we just talk about
Which
New
actually,
Order?
if we're here,
yeah, you know what? Yeah, New Order's good. I don't know Joy
they're both
Division.
fantastic in different ways.
I don't know Joy Division. I do know New Order, and compared to other new wave artists, they aren't my favorite, but I do like them. They are good. I specifically like True Faith. That's a great song.
Killing Joke, I'm not familiar with. I know the Knack for My Sharona.
Oh yeah, that.
But that's kind of it for me.
I don't know My Sharona. I know Cheech's cover My Scrotum from the movie.
I know Weird Al's cover My Bologna.
I know. Well, it wasn't really a cover. He was just kind of singing it as a joke in one of the Cheech and Chong movies. That's literally how I know that song. So
yeah, Cyndi Lauper is not new wave.
Okay.
Meat Puppets also not new wave.
Oh, Men at Work. I can speak on.
Men at Work.
So I'm assuming you don't know.
I love Men at Work.
Do you know much about him? Because I do. I know a decent amount.
Not too much, but I've listened to a bunch of their songs, and
I've heard two of their albums. Business as Usual, their best album, and Cargo, which honestly, Cargo I think is really only worth listening to for the song Overkill, which I have a somewhat.
That's my favorite song from them.
Yes, that's the one my dad plays on guitar. Overkill is a masterpiece. So I don't know where I'd put them as an artist. They are a little repetitive. I'd probably put them maybe C.
I need to listen to more of them.
I've listened to enough to know that they are a little repetitive. I'd put them at C. They aren't like an amazing band, but they do have some good tracks.
Men Without Hats, I don't remember having that much beyond their one hit.
From what I've heard from Todd of the Shadows, they're basically Devo, but without the satire, which kind of, yeah, I don't know if they'd be as great as Devo. Devo is unmatched.
I think it's weird to consider Midnight Oil new wave since they came out in like the late 80s, but if we're counting REM, I guess they count. Midnight Oil is a great band. They're a punk band they're a punk like alt college rock sort of band from the late 80s from Australia. A lot of their songs tie into Australian politics, which is something I'm not qualified enough to talk about. What I am qualified to say is they kick ass.
Fair. Okay, Modern English. I can't say I know them.
They did I Melt With You.
Now I did see the video on that too. From what I heard,
they had more.
From what I know, they started really experimental, but then got more poppy as they went along. So basically, like Devo.
But that's typical Devo.
Yeah, Devo definitely.
Thing.
Yeah, compare hardcore Devo to total Devo, and you'll see the difference. What's this next one?
Nick Cave. Nick Cave is like apparently like people on the internet fucking love Nick Cave. I haven't really listened to him, but they get like vitriolic about Nick Cave. They go fucking crazy for him, and also like Tom Waits, but he's not on here.
All right, Gary Newman.
This is your guy, Gerald Newman.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you don't know too much about Gary Newman.
He's a very famous name to me.
Yeah, so here's what I'd say about him. So everyone knows Pleasure Principle, you know, the one with cars. That's a great album. Telecon was okay. And then after that, he really tanked. He made an album called Dance that was terrible. And then from there on, he just made like club and dance music. He went away from like the synthesizer stuff with, you know, the messages about machines and robots to dance tracks. It's just... I would say, I'd put him at A, though. Because when he was good, he was really good. So I'd put him at A.
I still need to listen to his later catalog to really say, Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, Oingo Boingo, I'd say A, too, for them. A's pretty fitting. They are a classic. If I had to describe them, I'd say they're sort of like the Aquabats, but edgier. Yeah, they're a really good band though. I'd say everything up to Dead Man's Party is good. Everything after Dead Man's Party was just kind of forgettable. Okay, now this next one I don't think you know at all. OMD.
OMD.
Orchestral
That's
Maneuvers
the one
in
you
the
keep
Dark.
telling me. Of course I know them because every time we talk about music, you bring them up.
Well, they are good. Okay, so with OMD, they don't have a lot of good albums per se. It's mainly individual
Judge
tracks.
that one, I listen to an album.
There are two. There is one album, Dazzle Ships. That's a good one. That one's a lot more experimental. They did get a bit more poppy. I know their most famous song is "If You Leave," which is just like a generic '80s pop song, not like their other stuff. I know Enola Gay was also famous among the new wave people, not like general audiences. I'd say that's a good song, although the album Enola Gay is from is terrible. It's just boring, but OMD, I'd put them at B, I guess. You can definitely tell they had
Pet Shop Boys
influence.
goes to the top.
You can definitely tell they had influence from Kraftwerk and other new wave artists. So they are a good
I
band.
could tell Newman did because that whole shtick about talking about robots was kind of Kraftwerk's thing.
Well, yeah, definitely. But there are sometimes OMD like directly like had stuff from Kraftwerk, like with the text to speech voices and stuff. But yeah, so next we have the Police.
The Police. I would wager the Police are not new wave.
They are my boss's favorite band, so that's something. What's that?
Which is crazy because they haven't really made anything of note since the 80s. The Pretenders.
Don't know them. Can't say I know them.
Pretenders is a name that's familiar.
I can't. I have never heard them. I've never heard of them. So
I've heard of Proclaimers, but I haven't heard of Pretenders.
yeah, I don't know.
Psychedelic Furs. This is a name I see a bunch. I'm not familiar with their music, but
From what I've heard from my dad, I think I don't know if it's them or some other band. They weren't, but they only had like one good song.
I think. I feel like I heard them. I heard people talk about them, and they did not sound like they were actually a new wave band, but I might be wrong.
I don't know.
Public Image.
Don't know them.
Don't know them. REM. I think I would put them very high if they were new wave.
The Residents. I don't think they're new wave at all.
Residents are very much not new wave.
No, they are. I do know them. I have heard their cover of Satisfaction. It's something.
I love the Residents. It's an acquired taste, let's say, but
yeah,
Residents is very much not new wave. They've started in the 60s. They predate new wave by about 20 years.
Yes, I do know a good amount of them, or at least a decent amount to know what they're about. And yeah, okay, what's
the Romantics?
Don't know them.
Or while we're talking about Residents, I know that people who are in the know fucking love the Residents.
Yeah.
Simple Minds, not familiar with. Susie and the Banshees, I have heard of, and I know I know they're sampled in quite a lot of songs that I like, but I don't think I've heard them specifically. They're Canadian, I think. The Smiths is interesting. I would put them here because Queen is Dead and Meat is Murder are fantastic like jangle pop and like laying. And they're fantastic at laying the ground of what will become indie rock in the 80s and 90s. But also, fuck Morrissey. He's a piece of shit and a horrible person.
Okay, so what do we got? Squeeze. I don't know them either.
Not familiar. The Stranglers. The Tattletale Strangler.
Don't know. I doubt the Tattletale Strangler would be very good at music.
I swear Talk, I've heard the name.
I don't. I can't say I know him.
Talk Talk. Uh, oh no, I do know Talk Talk.
What about him?
Spirit of Eden.
Hmm.
Or Laughing Stock in '91. Those are great records.
Ah,
I I don't think I'm. I think I'll put them in B because I'm not as familiar enough with it. Talking Heads goes in S, no debate.
I do need to listen to him. I only know the one song. You know the one.
So, I actually don't because there's a couple. It could be Burning Down the House. It could be Once in a Lifetime. It could
Once in a
be
lifetime.
No, yeah. Yeah, Talking Heads is fantastic. Remain in Light is an essential listen.
All right, I'll have to give it a listen.
Tears for Fears, who I like a lot.
I've definitely heard of them.
And they had a pretty good record just 2 years ago. Television, I would wager. Actually, I guess they count. Marquee Moon is like a masterpiece, but I haven't really heard much from them beyond it.
All right.
It's like art punk, so it's like a precursor to new wave.
Fair, I guess.
Gristle is very much not new wave. That's they're industrial.
Okay, Two Boy Army.
They're pretty good, but also acquired taste.
Okay, Two Boy Army. That was basically Gary Newman before Gary Newman. It was his band, and okay, I've listened to 2 of their albums, and I can say they're basically Gary Newman but with more guitars. Except for the first album. The first album is just repetitive as hell. Listen to Replicas. That's really all you need to know about Two Boy Army is that they made replicas. Yeah, I'd say they're below Gary Newman, definitely.
U2 is very much not new wave and hasn't been for a long time. The Vapors is a name that's familiar. Oh no, they did Turning Japanese, and then they like broke up within months of that song coming out.
Huh. I'm trying to look at this next one.
I'm gonna assume D. Violent Femmes. I have a Violent Femmes CD. My
weren't
dad
they
loves
the
Violent
ones?
Femmes, but I haven't listened.
Weren't they the ones who made yeah, Gone Daddy Gone? From what I've heard from my dad, that Gone Daddy Gone was their only good song.
Well, I'm gonna assume your dad doesn't know it. I'm assuming your dad doesn't know what he's talking about, and
True. Yeah.
move on. Wall of Voodoo. I'm trying to remember what Wall of Voodoo did. Oh, they did Mexican Radio. Apparently there's more to them. I haven't really listened to much beyond that. Wang Chung. Not familiar.
Alright, and then finally
and
this...
XTC, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. XTC is a post-punk. And they, So, they had a few good albums. They had White Music. That one... The only problem with that one is the songs are really short, so it's best if you listen to the whole album in, like, one sitting. They did have a really bad cover of All Along the Watchtower on that. There was also Drums and Wires, good album. Black Sea, meh. And then they had a really experimental one called English Settlement, where they made it sort of sound medieval. So overall, put them, I guess, at B. They are good, but nothing groundbreaking. Except for me, English Settlement was an interesting album, but most of their stuff is just standard post-punk, you know?
Alright, well, there you go. Take your screenshots now.
Yeah. Whoa. Alright, there we go.
Hooray.
Alright, well, we will see you boys in the good of the...
Bye-bye.